Guess 1607, good luck. Wow, nearly 6,000 games for my opponent, that's very good. C5 is essentially an invitation to switch to a Sicilian. We're just going to develop, maybe knight up, maybe pawn up. Knight forward, what's he trying to achieve there? I'm just going to develop and take back. I could still go g3 and bring the bishop up. Obviously d4 is a logical move. Is d4 still a move? Knight up, I guess you come down. d4 first, take, 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 knight up. It feels like he's kind of misplayed it slightly, but probably alright. So up, take, take, take. Maybe knight forward. I guess you just got knight up. But then I can maybe throw a check. No, I can't throw a check if the knight covers. Knight up. Take, 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 take. The pawns are all over the place, but probably alright for white. For black. I'm just going to stick to my first thought and just get forward here. Let's come back. I think he's just trying to trade everything off, which obviously I will try not to do. So we've got natural development move with the knight here. So knight up is what I'm looking at. We could go e4 straight away. We don't want to hang the rook, of course. And then if we trade, I get a nice planted pawn. So I'm going to go with the knight first and then probably just e4 after the knight comes up. Or I could do the bishop up first and then plant the bishop in the middle of the board. Actually, that probably makes sense. Let's bring the bishop up and get development with a tempo against the queen. I could even take with a pawn potentially if he takes him. Oh, that's got to be a blunder. Check. His queen can actually take, but I do gain a rook. So what if I take a knight? I'll lose the bishop. That doesn't seem so good. I can check there as well. Queen takes and I just take. I can check there. Queen takes and I take. I'm going to go this one and just collect the rook. Now if we just trade the bishop, I think I should be fine. Just a castle here. And now we're going to try and branch out and just try and disturb this pawn structure somehow. Okay, he's launching one. Logical. So up. I'm going to go pawn forward. If you take, I'll just take. If you don't take though, say you push, I'll just probably advance the pawn. And if we trade, I can maybe go with the f pawn, even though you wouldn't normally. So I'm going to advance to close this diagonal. And if takes, I'll go with the f pawn. Okay, comes forward, that's logical as well. I'll try and build a centre and develop the bishop somewhere. Not sure where. Maybe f4. f4 might be actually a strong move here. My king feels relatively safe. b4 could be a move. They're just trying to get all the pieces into the game, but this, and open the file ourselves. So here, still feels like a good move to me, so I'm going to play it. Okay. Now I can push, and then push again. I don't want to completely clog it down though. So I'm actually going to take and see how you take back. If I go with a knight, I'll probably play bishop up. Goes with a pawn, then maybe bishop here. Or here. Okay, has gone with a pawn. So I'm going to go here and see if he plays f6 and then drop back. Otherwise, I'm just going to try and activate the rook and try and somehow break through. I guess bishop can guard the pawn there. Okay, so take, takes. I don't think I've got anything. Queen up takes, check. The knight can block, check. The king can move. That doesn't feel like I've got anything all done. Here, takes, check. Knight blocks. I've got pawn up. The The queen can take though, and there's suddenly a mate threat, so you still have to be a bit careful here. Let's just drop the bishop back. I expect the bishop will come here, then maybe a move like queen up. Queen up might be better if my opponent castles and we attack the knight and the pawn. But I've still got to pay attention, otherwise the queen, if it unleashes a diagonal, could be a bit of a problem, of course. Queen's gone across, okay. So here, takes up, might be an idea. So I'm going to go here with a view to b4 takes and c5, just trying to open lines up. Knight comes forward. Is that actually a threat? That's just a blunder, I think. You can see the idea is check, but it feels like I'm really safe in the corner. But no need to rush, it is rapid. So I think I'm going to take the knight. Just king into the corner, rook across. I've just got to pay attention. You've got a check and you've got here. So take, check, corner, take, blocks. That's covered, the bishop's covered, everything seems covered. So I'm going to take... Oh, it goes with the rook, okay. Do I spend a move guarding the pawn? You've still got check and you hit the pawn anyway. Bishop back. Guards it for one move. I don't think I can actually protect that. So corner. If you take, then queen up. If you go here, maybe I just move the bishop. I think I go to the corner, maybe with a view to rook across. Okay, he's moving really, really quickly here. Maybe a bit too quick. So which is the right square? I assume I want to be on the light square. Well, we attack the rook, we attack the pawn. Queen down, have I just got rook across? If I do this, I solidify the pawn structure. I just don't want to blunder a piece, obviously. The queen coming in for a checkmate. Check, takes, 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 and the bishop would actually fall. So you've got to still pay attention. Queen down, queen up, blunders checkmate, so not without complete risk here. Maybe just bishop back to f2 would be a sensible move. Then the bishop's no longer under attack and the bishop can go to f3 to defend. So queen down. Oh, he's actually pushed. I didn't expect that. So I think bishop f2. Say rook across, just grab the pawn, makes sense to me. I just have to watch out about the queen coming in. That's really the only threat here. Forget the pawn. That removes that as well. So what, we're up a rook. But down 2 pawns, 5 against 7, but a clean rook. Oh, hold on, I just missed, I just had queen takes rook actually there, didn't I? Takes, takes, takes before I moved the bishop, and that just won on the spot. Oh, that's a bit annoying that I missed that. So if I shift my bishop, I've got the same tactic there. So do I try and set that up and waste a move, maybe dropping back? If you come forward, I just simply take, 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 and that has to be winning. If I come back, I break the connection between my rooks. If I go here, yeah, this looks alright. I mean, I could just take the pawn now, of course. That might be sensible to do. If I come here, what's the threat from white? I mean, I could come here, but then I can't bring the rook across. No, I'm just going to grab the pawn. Grab the pawn, remove this g2 risk, and I can always come back here if I need to. I can swing right across the board, threaten a check. Maybe go here as well. I'm going to go here, so I set up the same threat. If I move the bishop, there's a threat to capture the rook. There's always the potential to push the pawn as well at some point. Bishop up. Yeah, bishop's gone there to hit my rook, logical. So I could just play rook across again, try and remove risk. Actually, what's wrong with that? Yeah, let's not do anything silly, just come across. If takes, I take. I threaten a check. I could take with a bishop and hit this pawn. But I think I should take with the rook. And then if pawn down, maybe queen across. Or even queen across one, threaten a check in the corner. D6 might be a move as well. Again, depends what my opponent does here. I just don't want to drop my queen back and blunder it to the bishop. I'm aware of the threat. Right, the queen has come forward, so if I take now and you take, I mean, that's got to be winning. That's got to be the least risk way, I would think. Just chop the rook off the board, maybe queen across. If I go here, though, you've got bishop down. So what if I just go here? I've got this as well to get a check, but I don't think I should do that. Or maybe right back. That feels a bit negative, though. But here threatens a check. I want to be able to play bishop here. So I'm actually going to go here. Threaten checks, but also bishop here should you come in. Yeah, that's what he's done. So I'm going to play the bishop straight there. No, double attack on the bishop. Okay, queen goes across. So we do have the option to check. If you take, everything should be comfortably winning, but like I say, there is a check with a view to coming in. I've got to take the bishop. Get rid of that bishop. So how do I do this? I'm looking at just a check with a view to coming round the back. I think that's got to be winning, but these are still a little bit dangerous. But let's throw a check in, at least hit a pawn if the king steps forward. Pawn down is an immediate mate in one threat, so you know, pawn down, that's a dangerous move, isn't it? Very dangerous. But I can take here, pawn down, check, and eventually I can just take here, I think, hopefully with a check. It's not without risk though. Pawn down. So what about queen just directly and a bit more direct? No, I'm going to take the pawn. I think I can check and collect, but actually I might be wrong. I've got to try and check when I can collect with a check. So I can just eventually bring the queen over and hopefully okay, but pawn down is a mate in one threat. And I can't actually play rook up, and I can't play pawn up, so it is a mate in one threat. I've got to just keep checking with the queen until I eventually cover it. So he's seen that. So let's just check, and we're going to try and zigzag and bring the queen over somehow, and hopefully take with a check. So if the king comes forward, it just wins on the spot. I take with a check, and then that removes all the risk when the queen comes off. So you can't allow check here. I mean, I guess rook takes would be a threat as well there, but we are facing mate in one. So this is where black has to really use the time and find the right moves. So again, if I take now without it being a check, then that's checkmate. So I assume I just go here and throw a check. I could check here as well. But I'm just going to come in over and try and zigzag the queen up if I can. Or even get a check here, depends on where the king ends up. If the king comes forward again, it's the same thing. So let's check. If I check here, I do have the option to actually push the pawn. Let's check here. Now I've got the option to play h3. So it does give me an option. The queen now guards, or I could check here as well first, depending on where the king is. I don't have an option to take this with check now, of course. So have I got anything better? Check. You have to go to one of the two. Then check. You're in the corner. And I don't see how I force it. But here, if you go there, can I then coordinate a check and grab this one? I hope I can. I'm going to go here. Here, I might reverse the direction and try and check here and grab the pawn. And walk the queen back over. Then try and take here. But I'm still facing a mate in one thread if it goes wrong. So I have to take this pawn. Or I can sack the rook, go this way by bringing the queen in over and just take. Queen takes and should be cleanly winning. But how do we do it? So check, up, check, take. I think that's winning. I'm trying to keep an eye on this as well, but I have to get a check and take here and guard this pawn. And you have to step forward, so I think I can check here next move and take. And that should be just a win. So check and collect. Now we guard it. One of the pawns is gone, rook across, and we're suddenly threatening checkmate ourselves in multiple ways. But again, I'm still going to be paying attention. If my queen wanders off without a check, the queen can still crash through. If you play down, I can simply collect the pawn either way. If you play down, I can collect that as well. So not easy for black to come up with a move here. Right, the queen's come forward. So now, if I come across, I'm just creating a checkmate threat. If you come here, check, down. Or maybe I actually check this way. I'm not sure. How do I want to do this? Can I check and collect this one? Check, you have to step up. I'm going to go here and at least create a bailout check threat. If you push, it's checkmate. So you've got to deal with a mate in one threat. And I've got to check here if the queen wanders off. So that's mate in one, go up. Probably the only move. I might not have a defense here though. Oh, the queen's gone back. I could have just run my pawn, actually, couldn't I? I'm going to sack the rook for these two. Okay, I'm fine now. I've got the king across. I should be fine now. I'm going to get another queen. Or I'm going to collect the pawns. Yeah, no, it's definitely winning. The risk is all gone. Really good effort by my opponent there. Really, really good hanging in there. Obviously, you can't stop my pawn now. The rook cuts the king. I'll just keep an eye on these two pawns. Okay. Let's just come back. Just make sure I don't blunder a sloppy stalemate. Pin the pawn. Okay, check. Now come forward and collect the pawn. Now just a simple ladder mate. The opponent's done really, really well holding on this game there. But we're going to manage to convert with a nice simple ladder checkmate. So we get there in the end eventually.